Hello and welcome to Hearth Crafts. My name is Charlotte and this is my channel where I talk general rubbish about my chaotic crafty life. I live on the south coast of England with my 5 neurospicy children and crafting keeps me sane. Sorry about the glasses shine. I'm sat outside of my garden. I'm outside of my brick shed things because it's got like a cover so it's nice and shady here. It's not particularly aesthetically pleasing. However, if aesthetically pleasing, perfectly polished videos is what you're after, that is not what you're going to find here. I am a creature of chaos. So, yeah. Anyway, I've been on an adventure. It was my birthday yesterday. I'm now officially 43 years old. Happy birthday to me. But as my chosen activity, I always choose somewhere to go camping and something to do every year. This year I went to Chalke History Festival in Wiltshire. So I will show you some footage of when we were there and then we will discuss my experience at Chalke History Festival afterwards. So this ginormous hill that we're currently walking down, we have to walk back up this, don't we, sweetheart? Every time we want to go back to the van.
Yeah, Charlotte, we do.
We have to climb this mountain. Actually, on camera, it doesn't look that bad. It's that bad, let me tell you. It is a mountain. I just wanted to show you that I have found a genuine caveman sitting on the hill, bare-chested and grumpy-faced. How you doing up the mountain, sweetheart?
Very nice.
We might die. It's okay. How high are we? Very high.
You sure you don't want to crawl up on your hands and knees like Glastonbury tour?
I don't think that would help right now. Okay, so we have got some historical chocolate from the Copper Pot, which is also, I believe, something to do with Jane's Historical Kitchen now as well. So it says it's from a recipe from 1685, and it says 17th century Spanish spiced milk chocolate with chili, orange, cinnamon, cloves, aniseed and vanilla. Well, I didn't read that properly, did I? Because I don't like aniseed. So, but we're going to give it a go. It says 33.6% cocoa, handmade in Shropshire. We're going to give it a go, aren't we, sweetheart? Look how excited you are, sweetheart.
Very excited.
Right, let's do it. It's based on the Antonio de la 1685 medicinal recipe for hot chocolate. Medicinal? Oh my God. What I love about the Copper Pot is when you go in there, I tried some cordial. They've all got different coloured stickers on them. So blue is from the 17th century, and then green is another century. They've got like Victorian, medieval, all sorts. But yeah, I wanted to try this because obviously we love 17th century. All right, there we go, darling. Okay, nice. Looks nice. Just plain old. Right, let's have a go. I think the cloves are quite... Oh, I just got a bit of chilli. I've just got some heat from the chilli. I like it. Do you like it?
Yes, it's very nice.
The cloves is probably the thing that I can taste the most of, but it has definitely got some chilli spice in there.
Tastes like the biscuits or chocolate you get from Holland.
It's weird, but I like it. Do you want a bit more?
No.
Why don't you want a bit more?
I'll spill my tea.
Well, I've got no
Thank
tea.
you.
So Chalke History Festival runs from the Monday through to the Sunday. You can camp a week, or you can... I feel like I need to move you up a little bit. What's going on there? I'm sorry, I'm squinting a lot today. I'm tired, as usual. It's been just the most hectic few weeks. Anyway, it runs from the Monday to the Sunday. You can stay a week, or you can stay a couple of days. We decided to stay from the Friday to the Sunday. I met just the most amazing people. I met some truly amazing people. So it was a very, very well run festival, really well laid out. So it was kind of, you had the camping area on top of a mountain, and then you walked down into the festival area, and then the first sort of time period you come across is like the prehistoric and Neolithic, and that was Sally Pointer and her crew. I met Sally, I talked to her for a while. I've used Sally Pointer's videos for learning to use make nettle cordage, and she's got a fantastic video about how to make your own warp weighted loom, and I took some video of those because I really want to make one. But yeah, so that you've got all of her, and there was flint knapping and all that kind of thing, which was great. And then you moved on to like the Bronze Age period, which is where I saw the blacksmithing from that time. And there was a lady doing pottery, and she literally just had clay pots in a fire covered up, and it was just fantastic. And that's where I also met Leah and Elfie, and Leah's other half. They were absolutely lovely. So it's so funny. I stood there talking to Leah of Leah Wild Creates for quite a while, and we kind of exchanged, social media deets and all that kind of thing, and chatted for a while because she had distaffs. So then I took some pictures of her with her distaff and what have you. But the signal wasn't that great. So we went off and sat down on a hill because, even though we were over the worst of the heat wave, it was still really, really hot. So we had to keep going to the shade. And I kept coming up in like a really awful sun rash. So we went and sat in the shade, and I managed to get a little bit of internet. And I went on her Etsy shop, and I thought, that is so funny because I have been on her Etsy shop 1,000,001 times. I love it. She has some amazing things on there. It's, like I said, Leah Wild creation. I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, I've looked on there a million times and nearly bought things a million times. And then I realised that she is the person that I bought Edith the spinning wheel from. How funny is that? So obviously when I walked back round that way, I said to her, I've just realised who you are. I bought my Ashford Kiwi 3 from you. And she was like, oh, that's my husband's side of the business. So then I got chatting to him and I was like, do you sell cases? And he was like, yes, I've got one in stock. So then I ended up buying one from him, which hopefully might arrive today, actually. So that's exciting. So they're great. So definitely go on and have a look at them. Leah's got YouTube. She's also got a Patreon and an Etsy shop. So yeah, go and have a little look. So then you had like some cart builders who had horses, and they were camped at the back of the camping field. So like a few times a day, you like the horses would walk past our the working horses would walk past our van, which was really, really nice. But yeah, they were building carts and using horses, and that was really cool. And then next to them you had like the Vikings, and then you had some Victorians. That was really good. And then you had the Sundry folk, who were based in 1350. They were so lovely, so lovely. Again, there was a lady there spinning with a distaff, so I made a beeline for her, and spoke to her for ages about it. And then they did a talk on the Sunday morning about fashion in the 14th century. So I sat and listened to that as well, which was great. Apparently the Sundry folk comes from the book The Canterbury Tales, and it's like a group of people that were going to sort of on a religious pilgrimage to like one of the bigger English cities, but it was quite dangerous to travel alone. So it would be just a group of people that were kind of traveling together, but they were of all different classes. So that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And then you had and then you had the copper pot, which is also now, I think, part of Jane's Historical Kitchen. That was great. I got some 17th century chocolate, and that was really nice. I enjoyed that. And then you had the 17th century people, which was really interesting. They had quite a big encampment, and they kind of, one half of them were from 1620 something, and the other half were like 1680, and obviously the village is 1642. So it was quite nice to see sort of either side of the 16th century, either side of the Civil War. The fashion in 1680, the lady that was there portraying it, she had the most beautiful dress on, and I loved it so much. But obviously not a thing in 1642, unfortunately. But that was really good. And then you had all the World War II people, and then at the very end you had the arena. We watched the tanks go around the arena, and the 17th century folk firing cannons and things like that. That was great. They had a World War II trench experience, which we did. That was great. We went through like gunfire and smoke and everything while you're walking through the trees, and like all these trenches dug in. That was very humbling. And then sort of you just had other sort of stalls and things scattered around. The Viking puppet people, they were there. I've seen them a few times now. I've seen them a couple of times when we've been to the Valhalla Viking festival. They're great. Their puppet show is just absolutely fantastic. It's so funny. It's all the Viking gods, Norse gods. And then on Saturday, Al Murray was doing a comedy set, and it was really strange because we walked in, there was only about 5 minutes or so before he was about to start. We walked in and we were like, oh, we'll be at the back, blah blah. These people came up to us and were like, we've got 2 seats down the front, would you like to come down the front? I was thinking, oh no, you don't go at the front of a comedy show. You just don't. It's just, you know, you're going to get picked on. And they took us through, and then there was like a roped off area for VIPs at the front. They opened the rope and took me and Pete in, and we're looking at each other, we're thinking, do they think that we're someone else? Like, is this a case of mistaken identity? Because I feel very fraudulent being up here in the VIP area. But yeah, luckily they sat us. So there was like the middle section, and then there was a side section, side section. They sat us over in the side section, literally the front row. And I like Al Murray. I know who he is. I'm not a massive fan of comedians, but there are a few that I like. And I didn't think Al Murray was terrible before going into it, and I didn't think he was terrible afterwards. By the way, that's not where this is going. But what I didn't realise is when he comes on, he starts his shows with a pint and he throws it all over the audience. Well, luckily we were at the side, so we didn't get it. But oh my goodness, those poor people in the middle section, they were covered in beer because he did about 3 pints worth, just throwing it all over. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so obviously we were picked on. There was quite a few people that were picked on in the front rows. And I felt, but he didn't come to me. He didn't pick on me. He kept looking at me, he kept making eye contact with me. And I was thinking, oh, please don't. But he did this thing of this little section about bald men and how there was lots of bald men there. And it looked like someone had opened an egg box. And he was describing the different kinds of bald people. And then he said, and then at the end, you've got those ones, the bald people who try to overcompensate by growing hair out of their face. And obviously he was talking about Pete, who sat next to me. But it was cringy because then he made the entire crowd. I mean, there must be about, oh, I don't know, like 800 people there. He made them all turn and point to Pete and start shouting pubes. Because he said that's what facial hair is. It's pubic hair. So the whole crowd would go pubes, pubes at Pete, and I was like, oh no. I don't think I could possibly grab the camera enough to show you this. But I have, every year we have some house sparrows that nest up in my neighbour's one of my neighbour's cavities. The daddy bird has literally just flown in and landed at my feet, and he's eating stuff off the floor at my feet. I don't want to move. Oh my goodness. Interesting fact. House sparrows are dimorphic, which means you can, oh, he's gone now. You can tell the difference between the males and the females. The males have black under their neck and the females are brown. But yeah, every year they nest up in the little cavity in my next door neighbour's garden. And then in July time, they'll bring the babies out and they teach them to fly between the fences of my garden. But yeah, that's so, I can see the daddy now. He's just going up into the cavity. Oh, he just came and landed at my feet. That's so cute. Anyway, back to Al Murray. So yeah, that was a bit cringy, but Pete's a champ. He took it amazingly. And Al Murray was very funny. He was very funny. I think it was, but Pete and I were both very distracted because of our ADHD, and we were in the front row, and because the angle was out, we could see that there was a screen on the stage facing towards Al Murray that counted down from 45 minutes. And it never even occurred to me that like comedians would have that, like a screen showing them a countdown so that they don't run over time. So we were really distracted by watching the countdown. And then at the end, he went about 5 minutes over and it went plus. It turned red and it went plus, and then we were like, oh, he's plus 1 minute. Oh, he's plus 2 minutes. I think he went to like plus 6 minutes or something. Anyway, he was very funny and that was very good. Oh, here comes Edward. So, and then in the evening, there was, on the Friday night, there was an ABBA band. Edward, no. And then on the Saturday night, there was another band, and like an orchestra that were doing like instrumentals of pop songs. Stop, Eddie. No, thank you. If you're going to come out here and cause a stir, come here, what you got in your eyeball? You want to come up and say hello? What is that in your eye? You want to come up? Oh, God. Come on in. Oh. Right. Beautiful. Right. Just behave. Okay? Yeah. I know. You tired boy. Why don't you lay down? Everyone can just see the back of your head and your lovely little ears. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Right, lay down then. So, yes, and there was that band, and then there was like a big beer tent. It was great. There was a few shops, but they were, I mean, it was stuff that wasn't of interest to me. It was like clothing brand, like not even brands I've heard of, like posh clothing brands that only society's elite would know. But there was a full size, and I mean full size, Waterstones under a tent. Full size bookstore. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And then there was about 4 other tents scattered around that had like talkers in, like historians and things like that were clearly very knowledgeable about their subject, but there wasn't really any that I particularly wanted to see. I preferred watching the demonstrations by the living history groups. There was a Viking, Castle Hill Heritage Skills. They were great. They were in the Viking era, and they had tablet weaving, rigid header weaving. My belly's rumbling now. I hope you can't hear that. They did a talk on natural dyeing, so I went and watched that. That was great. And they had like a dye garden that they had brought with them. What were they called? Hearth science, which I thought was great because obviously I'm hearth crafts. They did a demonstration of they were turning malachite into, was it malachite? I'm sure it was malachite. It's a green gemstone. I'm sure it was malachite. Smelting it down into copper. And that was great. That demonstration was absolutely brilliant. They were from the University of Liverpool. So I enjoyed watching those demonstrations rather than going to like a talk under a tent. So would I go again? I would definitely go as a reenactor. Definitely. Those people, I mean, all the people that I met, the reenactors, made it worth it. They were absolutely fantastic. And like I said, we enjoyed Al Murray. I will say Pete felt really uncomfortable there because it was clear, I mean, it was a very well put together festival. Everything ran like clockwork. They had everything you could possibly think of. They clearly had put a lot of thought and money into the festival. But when you kind of looked around, and I'm not very observant really, because I look at what I like to look at. I don't particularly look at the people around me, whereas Pete does. And he pointed out to me that actually it was very much, I don't know how to say it, like it was for posh people, middle to upper class people. Like, I mean, there was some, and when Al Murray was picking on people and asking people what they did, it was all like, I'm a novelist and I'm a stonemason and I'm in PR and marketing. You know, Pete felt very out of place. I didn't, because I don't care. I'm not there to look at who else is attending the festival. I'm there to learn about the history and talk to the reenactors, and that was my thing. But yeah, it was definitely almost seemed as though it was aimed at a certain clientele, of which was not us. Pete was walking around with his bare chest because Pete likes to walk around without a shirt on. And we were walking through the festival and he's like, I am literally the only man here. I mean, like I said, we were still on the end of the heat wave and he was the only man there with no shirt on. There was a lot of deck shoes and salmon trousers. So I would go again. I probably wouldn't take Pete, and I would rather go as a reenactor than someone actually going there to camp. But I'm glad I went. I really enjoyed it. It was great. There wasn't really anything there to buy, like I said, but the one thing that I did get was this, and this is from the one of the ladies of Castle Hill Heritage Skills, who are based in Dorset. and she did the demonstration on dyeing, and she sold kits, and there was different colors. It smells of walnut. I love it so much because of the walnut husks. But yeah, so I chose to get this one, and I'm really excited about doing that. That's literally all I bought because there wasn't really anything else. But yeah, like I said, it was really good. I'm really glad I went. I had a lovely weekend, and I love new experiences, and it was definitely that. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for listening to my waffle. I'm very distracted by the mummy and daddy bird. They're both over there now, and I'm thinking I want to watch because, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's July that they bring the babies out and try and teach them to fly. If I can catch a video of it, I will, whether it be now or in a future video. But they're very cute. I love them. Anyway, have an amazing rest of your week, everybody. I'll be back really, really soon with some Tour de Fleece shenanigans. But take care of yourselves and remember to keep your crafting fun. Bye.